Hello, and welcome to another Adverity Platform guide. Today, we're going to be showing you how to create a Google Analytics data stream, which is also known as GA4 or Google Analytics 4. So first, let's take a look at GA4 and the different types of data you can fetch. Google Analytics 4, or GA4, is the next generation of Google Analytics that allows you to collect data from both websites and apps. Unlike earlier versions, GA4 uses event-based data instead of session-based data, and this gives you a much more detailed view of your audience. With Adverity's GA4 API, you can automatically fetch GA4 data, transform and enrich it, combine it with other data, analyze and visualize it directly in Adverity, and send it to any desired destination for further analysis or storage. For example, you can combine your website data with data from multiple different ad platforms to get an accurate look at how different campaigns are impacting visits, sessions, and clicks on your website. The Adverity GA4 API allows for extremely in-depth collection of data with more than 1,000 different metrics and dimensions available to fetch. And you can find these listed in the Adverity documentation. To fetch website data from GA4, first head to the Data Streams page via the Platform navigation menu. Click Create Data Stream in the top right and select Google Analytics Data GA4. Next, you'll be asked to authorize Adverity to access GA4. You can do this using your own credentials, in which case you'll be prompted to log into your GA4 account and provide permission. If you don't have access to your GA4 account, you can also ask a colleague to authorize access for you. Lastly, if the workspace you are using already has an existing authorization, you can use that instead. In this case, we do have an existing authorization, so we are going to go ahead and select it and click Next. You'll now see a list of report templates you can choose from. These are all pre-built by Adverity based on common use cases and will fetch specific dimensions and metrics depending on the report type. The settings for any of these report templates can be changed later on. However, if you can't see the specific template you want, you can select Custom Configuration to create a new data stream from scratch. In this case, we want to look at general website performance, so we'll select the landing page report template. This will fetch metrics such as sessions, new users, and conversions. Next, you'll need to configure the data stream. Here you can change the name, select the workspace, and add other dimensions and metrics if you want. You will also need to add the specific properties you want to fetch data from. In this example, we only have one property, but if you have multiple properties in your GA4 account, you can select specific ones to fine-tune what data is being fetched. When you're happy with the configuration, simply scroll down and click Next. You will now be asked if you want to assign any external destinations to this data stream. An external destination might be a data warehouse, data lake, or an analytics tool. If you don't have any destinations set up at the moment, or you don't want to send your data to a destination, don't worry. You can create and assign destinations to this data stream later on. So just skip this step by clicking Next. You are now ready to perform an initial data fetch. The time range for this is entirely up to you. However, for your initial data fetch, we recommend fetching no more than 1 month worth of data. While you may want to backfill a lot of data on your initial fetch, this can take a long time if you're looking at several years of data, so it's best to start with a smaller time range. This means you can adjust settings and further configure your data stream before scheduling larger data fetches. For now, we'll set the time range to last month and then hit Run Fetch. This will take you to the data stream overview page for your new data stream and start your initial data fetch. The data stream overview page is where you manage all the settings for that data stream. You can manually fetch data, schedule regular automated data fetches, assign enrichments, assign destinations, and enable Adverity data storage. You can also adjust your data stream settings at any time by heading to the Settings tab. In particular, you can add or remove specific fields to fully customize what data this data stream is fetching. Once your initial data fetch is complete, you can check the data extract to make sure all the data has been extracted correctly. In the data extract view, you'll also notice the default data mapping that has been applied to your data stream. Data mapping lets you automatically ensure data from different data sources follows identical naming and formatting rules. For example, data related to total cost might be named cost in one data source and spend in another. This makes it difficult to compare the same data from different data sources. By mapping these source fields to the same target field in Adverity, you can compare and analyze this data more easily. You can adjust the data mapping for your data stream at any time by heading to the Data Mapping tab here. In the Data Mapping overview, on the left of the table is the Source Field column, which shows the source fields you have collected from your data source. On the right of the table, you can see the Target Field column. This shows the target fields in Adverity that your source field will be mapped to. Adverity automatically assigns target fields to the most common source fields, but you can assign different target fields for this data source or even add custom target fields if you need to. Thanks for watching. For more information on how to set up a data stream, please check out Adverity documentation.